We are on the cusp of the second CSGO major for 2022, and while you may not know it yet, the most important major for the future of CSGO. When I look at the items that I have purchased, when I look at where the player base will be in a few years, and when I look at the future of majors, my eyes are focused on what Rio will provide. Rio 2022 was supposed to be Rio 2020 just after the Berlin major. Honestly, looking at it now, I'm glad the major was postponed. But let me explain myself first. Back in 2019, before the COVID restrictions, we were still in the Astralis era of Counter-Strike, and they just won their 4th major by decimating a Vanguard in the finals. This was the era of Astralis' boring. They were too good, they were too dominant. And as a result, sometimes we would see higher viewership for semi-finals than we would for finals. Overall, I would say the Astralis era was good for Counter-Strike, because it created some very entertaining rosters and it pushed teams to achieve a higher level of play. But if Rio was never postponed, maybe Astralis would win their 5th major. It is unfortunate that external circumstances broke up the most dominant team in Counter-Strike Global Offensive history, but from a viewership perspective, this was a blessing. We are now in a significantly more interesting era of Counter-Strike. FaZe is the clear favorite going into the major, but they have faltered against lesser opponents, so in no way are they a lock to win it all. But if FaZe do win, they complete the Grand Slam and they make history. Vitality has been looking solid recently, and that could mean ZywOo can win his first major. At this point, Sipple and ZywOo both have won their major, and then we can start debating who is the best in the world again. Liquid with Nitro, Naf, and Elige as a core can finally win a major after falling apart during their peak in 2019. Na'Vi can fight for their 2nd major, and that team has been through a lot recently. We have the war, we have the Boomich situation. It would be a big deal if they were able to pull through and win a 2nd major. And of course, we need to talk about all of the Brazilian teams at this event. Usually when people complain about a major these days, it's something like production quality was bad, maybe the matches were boring, their favorite talent wasn't invited to the event, etc. Not for Rio. Months before the event started, people were up in arms that the venue was too small. Now keep in mind that we had just witnessed the Antwerp major with a capacity of 12,000, and it was something like this. So here's what's happening. Capacity has been increased by 5,000. We get a Brazilian home crowd, which from previous events we know will bring the hype, and there is more than one team to cheer for in 2022. But that's not where this story ends. ESL listened to the community this time, and despite how tricky it would be to change venues, they did find a way to increase capacity. For ESL Rio, there will be an outdoor viewing party. This fan fest will be hosted by galas outside of the arena, and this may be what propels Counter-Strike to a new level. All of the Brazilian fans and players complained that the venue was too small. So are there going to be 500 people at this outdoor viewing, or 50,000? Unless ESL are pulling some gymnastics to help with marketing, this would mean that galas could potentially be hosting a 75,000 person watch party. To put this into perspective, if this fanfest were to actually get filled, the crowd would be the same size as a Super Bowl. Imagining that for a Counter-Strike event is almost impossible. Now imagine what boomers will do when they get exposed to this. There's no way you could have potentially 100,000 people all gathered in one area watching grown men play video games for hours and not throw up a little segment on late night news or trying to get some clicks on an article. But also, think about the Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4 CS players that went over to Valorant. They played in this arena that barely cheered for half of the teams, and then they have to sit back and watch their old friends compete in this. Valorant has done a great job introducing the MOBA fanbase to first-person shooters, and because of people like Tarek who watch the majors, but have also created a massive Valorant following, if Brazilian teams can make it to playoffs, if the broadcast quality is good, if there aren't too many technical delays, and if the crowd can show up like we know they can, this major can change Counter-Strike forever. So as we do around here, I guess it's money time. Influx of players equals influx of people using the market. Even if the new major only creates a short influx of players, we can see case and capsule unboxing rates for that month increase, and we could also potentially see an increase of sales for common skins. Think of something like a USP Black Lotus, maybe like a USP Cyrex, on the high end like Print Streams, AK Redlines, Elite Builds, etc. Just the type of skins that someone new to the game would think looks nice without being too expensive. I currently have a lot of money in Stockholm and Antwerp items. Because supply is so high and these two collections are so similar, it seems like sticker demand is unusually low. Looking at Stockholm capsules, the prices have gone insane multiple times over the last week. Yet if you look at the stickers, besides the big names like your mouse stickers, Copenhagen Flames Hollows, and Tropics, the sticker demand has been very underwhelming. If a whole new player base that will eventually pick up an entirely new inventory of skins enters the scene, then you already know they're going to apply some 4-cent stickers too. Then the stickers become 5 cents, then 6, then 7, and so on. In no way do I believe that this new Rio Major could absolutely turn the market on its head, but there may be a noticeable drop in supply over the next few weeks for certain items, and that possibility is very exciting for someone like me or you.